Hello, I'm Axel, and I'm back with another interview. This time I'm here with my friend Nate. I'm my training buddy Nate. We are training like mostly every time, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
every
4 days a
workout
week.
here is with you. Coach change, but we're at the same class every time.
Yeah.
So tell me, Nate, who are you? What do you do, and what has brought you here to Strengthen?
Okay. My full name is Nathan Tayo. I'm from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a 100 meter and 200 meter sprinter. I'm here to improve my athleticism with Coach Chris Bernard from Overtime Athletes.
Right.
So yeah, I'm working with him to improve my deadlift, power, flexibility, and all those stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to improve this? What are your goals, like in track and field, in those events that you participate? What do you want to achieve?
Okay, so I started track and field about when I was a junior in high school. So I've been training. I just finished. I just graduated from college back in May. So I've been doing this for around 6 years. Yeah. So my goal is just to represent my country as a 100 meter and 200 meter sprinter at the Olympic Games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which one I'll be competing at. Maybe the Paris, which is 2024. I think it's 2024.
Yeah, I think it's
Paris
24, and then the
Los Angeles?
Los Angeles is 28.
28,
I think, if
yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
Well,
Those are two decided
Yeah.
at the same time. Yeah.
So that's where I want to compete. That's where that's my main goal. Like that's my long-term goal.
Well, what has like inspired you
Motivated.
to get into track and field? Because like there was a time when you didn't do track and field,
Yeah.
right?
So
what
before junior high school, yeah, I would just play volleyball, soccer, basketball a little bit. So I was always athletic, but I had never had the passion to pursue any type of sport. But then I was racing with my friends, like just racing on the grass, like 60 yards, 60 meters, and I had this fire in me. I just felt so good. So there was a track meet coming up, so my friends told me about it, and I wanted to see how I would perform. So my first ever race, I competed. It was back in 2013. I was just skin and bones, just literally skin and bones. And I remember that I competed in the 100 meters track, and I remember the track. I remember the race being so long. It was 100 meters, but at the same time, it was so long.
Right.
I felt like it was like a 300-meter sprint. Yeah, that's so. From that point on, I felt like the urge to continue at this track and field stuff, and after about a year or two, I've decided to become like a professional level. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk about perhaps some of your achievements? What have you done already in the sport, in track and field?
Okay, so back in my country, actually, the past 2 years I've been the Ethiopian champion in both the 100 meter and the 200 meter, except for the 100 meter, which was back in 2017. I lost that. I got second in that. Except for that, I've been the Ethiopian champion for the 100 and 200 meters. I've won a track meet at my high school, both in the 100 and 200 meters. But so what I realized is that in my country, the sprint game is not as developed as it is in other countries, other African countries. That's how I found out. That was when I competed in the African Senior Championships in Nigeria back in 2018. I saw that the African guys are much better than us. So yeah, that's why I decided to come here to Overtime Athletes and work with Chris, because there's a big gap between us and them.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I decided to do.
Right. Can you perhaps tell more about the sports culture, so to say, in Ethiopia, and back in your home? Because let's be honest, like being the national champion, it's a big honor in any country, right?
Yes.
So you're kind of the face of something, right, at that particular event or sport. In your case, two track and field events. Can you tell about the culture, for example, in your sport, different sports, how is Ethiopia dealing with sports, and how's that perceived, and how's it like in there?
Okay, so basically in track and field, Ethiopians are mostly known for long distance running. So actually, we are favored in the long distance running, and like I don't want to say nobody favors the other types of sports, but it's not given so much of consideration as in the long distance runners. For track athletes, for throwers, jumpers, just there's the consideration is much less than the ones given to long distance runners, and especially basketball, soccer, and volleyball. They are developing, but I don't see them competing with other countries and winning
at a high level.
At a higher level, yeah. We're still like low compared to other countries. Yeah.
Well, can you talk about more so in depth, for example, because for me it's interesting to understand how it's, for example, determined how would an athlete, because like a lot of people would say, oh, long distance runners, but within that there's also a difference between running a 1500 meter run or the marathon or half marathon, 3000 meter runs, different events in there. Can you talk about those athletes, how they are differentiated and how they are like put into those respective events, how they, how coaches or whoever determines how did that happen?
Okay, so when athletes begin to like come up, like win or do better at their event, any event, like short distance events, their long-term goal is to just keep evolving and evolving to reach at the marathon level or the 10,000 meters or 5,000 meters. So all of them, they are working towards that goal. Every athlete, every track athlete, like 100, 200 meters, 400, 800 meters track athletes are working towards meeting that goal. I think that's one of our drawbacks. Nobody thinks that they can succeed at the sprints, like the 100, 200, 400 meters. So the shortest distance we have competed at the World Championships are the 800 meters, and we have won that back in, I think it was 2014 or 15. But like I told you, that's their main goal. Every athlete every youngster who is trying to make a name for himself, they're working towards reaching the marathon level. They're just this like the 3,000, the 1,500 meter tracks are just a path, are just a way to reach their main goal, which is the marathon or the 10,000 meters. That's how it's perceived in my country.
Right. Well, about the training, right? So a lot of people from aside who haven't even been to Ethiopia think that there are good conditions there for the long distance runners.
Yeah.
Tell me about perhaps, and this may come off the topic of sports, but could you tell about nature, how it is like in Ethiopia, nature-wise? And do you think, for example, for your sport, is there good conditions to train there? Tell me about that.
Sprints?
Yeah. Well, both of them.
Okay.
Both.
So I believe that you can, no matter where you are, I believe that you can succeed at any sport that you want. So, for me, it's not a problem where I am to work on my sprints. I'm not gonna be able to give excuses. I'm just gonna find a way to work at the track or the grass or the field. And you were talking about the long distance too, right?
Right.
So the long distance, I really admire them. Like they're they're very strong mentally. They're they're very very strong mentally because it's hard. I've tried long distance. I've tried keeping up with them training wise, and I don't know, because they're very very strong mentally. They might not be well educated or well. They might not be from a good. I mean, like developed country, but they're mentally wise. They're very very strong. These athletes, these long distance people. That's what I'm like. That's what I learned from them. That's what I really admire and appreciate from them. That they're very very strong mentally. They might not be well from coming. They might not come from a well developed background, a rich city or everything, but they're too mentally wise. They're what they do. They know what to do. They know what to do in order to achieve their goals, like in long distance.
Right.
They know what to do and they do it. They're not like, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have a feed, I don't have this. They're like so motivated and so like directly focused on their goals, and that's what I really appreciate about them.
There's a saying that goes like, "Don't mistake hard work for habit." Meaning, the fact that you go and repeat the same thing every day doesn't mean you work actually hard. You got to put in the work.
Yeah, work hard.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's like, don't mistake habit for hard work. Would you call something like that? Would you attach something like that to them?
Habits?
Yeah, like do you think it's like they really put in the work, or that's like a habit routine? And could you perhaps dig deeper and
Well-
tell some encounterments that you have had with them, like the experiences that you have had with those athletes, or what have you seen, right, being up close to them?
Okay, so like you said, habits and
Yeah,
work-wise.
don't mistake habit, like a habit, just going there every day by hard work.
Hard
Because
work,
like you
yeah.
can go there and just check, I'm here.
Oh yeah.
And then on the other hand, like you have the same routine, but you put in the hard work there.
hard work. Yeah.
So yeah, and about with your experience with those athletes, can you like name some encounterment, some event that you really experienced hand in hand with eye to eye with those athletes, perhaps, or
Yeah, so-
what you have had?
Okay, so back when we were training for the national team, so we are like divided and we take one bus to go to work out, like the sprinters, jumpers, and maybe throwers, which is
Right. Power
take one
athletes.
bus, power athletes, take a bus and go to higher ground like the mountains and do some work there.
Okay.
So before we just after we got off the bus, we see them running. We see those long distance athletes running. So just before we started, like before everybody got like close together and like before the program is given, we see them running out there. Like they're like making their own paths in the jungle. Like it's like trees and everything, like grass.
Okay.
So they're making their own paths and they're like going. Just there's one leader in the front and just like going everywhere around the field.
All right.
So we see them like when we get off the bus, we see them. Okay, so we began work, and we were working. We were tired. We're still working hard. Then we finished, and we were like sitting there. So at that point, we still see them running,
Right.
and it's not like jogging like this. It's not jogging. It's like they're like really giving it their
Really
best.
giving a good pace on
Yeah,
it, right?
keeping a good pace on it and like doing their best, and it's like that. So it's not about like it is a good habit is like a good habit of hard work. I believe in that, but
Right.
they come there, they arrive, and they put in the work. They give it all their best every day, and that's what I really like about them.
Right.
Yeah.
So you touched about how you went in the Ethiopia and about the fields and stuff like that. Perhaps you can, off the topic of sports, perhaps you can touch about tell us like people who haven't been, like myself, I haven't been to Ethiopia. Can you talk about like the nature? How does it look in Ethiopia? What are the rules that people should know? For example, if they wanted to visit Ethiopia, right? So can you talk about that perhaps?
Okay, so I'm not a tourist guide. I'm just gonna tell you.
Right.
I'm just gonna tell you my experience about.
Okay.
So if you're coming to visit like any parts of the outer part of the country, I'm not very sure about that. But if you're coming to Addis Ababa, which that's the city where I live in, you can like it's not weather-wise, it's not humid like here in the U.S. Here in Florida, it's humid, right? It's like 70% humidity. It's not humid. It's really like it's windy and cold, especially in the morning, especially at this time, like December, January. So you would need like to travel. You'd need a taxi or like a car. You would definitely need that. So what else would you see?
Talk about nature, perhaps, like what kind of trees or animals are there and stuff like that.
Okay, so we are
'Cause,
basically
like here
known
in
for
Florida, you see like birds, squirrels, lizards
Yeah.
running all over the place. You know? So how's it over there?
So basically, there are no like squirrels, raccoons, or
Right.
there are no such types of animals there.
No at all.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So there are birds.
So for you, those are like exotics, right?
Yeah, right here,
Okay.
yeah, they are squirrels,
Okay.
especially.
Okay.
Okay, so I think there are some species of herbivores that are like grass eaters, which are like, have you heard of walia, walia ibex?
I'm not sure right now.
So that's one of the indigenous species there. So the others, they're like, well, there are dogs and cats, like
Right.
there are pets. There are lions, and
In the wild, right? You can encounter them, or
in the
are they
wild, I'm
in
not
resort?
sure. I'm not sure in the wild, but there are zoos. Well, I think
Right.
so. I think so because they must have brought them from the wild
Yeah.
to in the
Right.
zoo. Yeah, so lions. Actually, yeah. Have you heard of the Lion of Judah? Have you heard
I
of
don't think
any?
so. No. Can you tell about?
Actually, yeah, I'm not very well informed on that, but it
Right.
especially represents the era of Emperor Haile Selassie, or as many people know, it's Rastafari. Or
Right.
have you heard of the Jamaicans who
Yeah,
call
yeah.
themselves Rastafari?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard of it. Yeah.
yeah. So that's pretty much what I know about the Lion of Judah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, our since we are like here, it's a unique chance to meet. Perhaps you wanted to ask me something right now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Continue with
So-
some questions with me.
Back in Riga, that's where you live, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you used to sprint the 400 meters? That's what you told me, right?
Yeah. Right. Well, that's actually an event that I started to dig in deeper just in the past year and a half. You know, of the time of this recording. So for me, how I began to it, specifically that event, I was just doing track and field since 2004.
Oh wow!
So I've
that's
been
back
doing
in high school, back in like
back
grade
in
school.
like grade school. I've been doing it. At the beginning, I started to do hurdles, long jump,
Okay.
shot put. I
wow.
would do
So-
but as like a little kid because I have had a my first track coach was a decathlete coach.
Decathlon.
He was coaching decathlon, and he actually was the coach of the current and still current national record holder for the 100 meters, which is 10.18.
Okay.
Crazy that that's not even good enough to qualify for the Olympics, for
Olympics.
the upcoming Olympics
Yeah.
in Tokyo, right? But at that time, when he said it, it was good enough to compete in the Olympics. But unfortunately, the guy suffered an Achilles injury.
So was it like
He didn't
career
compete
career ending?
it was he did made a comeback, but he was not as fast. But like he still
Okay.
was the fastest man in the country
Okay.
at that point. So yeah, I was dabbling. I loved speed. I just love the feeling that when you run fast, the ground, like you reach a certain speed when the ground just disappears from your legs.
Okay.
Beneath your legs, it disappears, and you just go through. You have such a high speed, and you like have the adrenaline rush, I would say. So I love that. But other than that, in that time, I have done various other sports. I did kayaking as well. I was
okay.
multiple time champion over there as well. Competed internationally. I did play basketball as well.
Oh, okay. You didn't tell me about the
yeah.
kayaking.
Yeah. At one
So
point,
was it like a group thing or like?
it was like, yeah, we trained in groups, but like I was training with a club. But
So did you compete alone or like?
well, there are
doubles?
both classes. You compete in a one-man boat, two-man boat, and four-man boats.
Okay.
Four-man boats are not as popular, but you
Okay.
kind of stick up for guys and just go.
Okay.
It sounds ridiculous, but most of the time that's like it is. For the two-man boat, you do need to practice way more and to be like a very successful team.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did that, and at one point I was doing 3 sports at once. Like it was like within a week I would have training sessions in 3 sports: basketball, kayaking, and track and field.
Wow. So like your whole days were filled like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it was
Basically,
training to training.
basically I would wake up 10 minutes before school because like I was like still recovering
Okay.
from the last day. I would run to school, be there. After school, I would go to the gym, practice my basketball drills, then go to the actual basketball workout. Then after that, like I would not even change clothes. I would just pull up my like pants over my clothes, jump over the fence, run through a backyard, and go to the next facility where I would have my kayaking workout, like a strength workout in the weight room. And then where sometimes I would have like sometimes I would go either run at the evening after that or in the morning. So yeah, and so I was doing that. And back in 2013, I actually completed a marathon. So it was like a goal of mine in life, just so I have it under my belt, right? So I have it as that. But I was doing that, and so in 2012, I decided I wouldn't go like all in. I was watching the closing ceremony of London Olympics, and I decided next morning, every day. Actually, it ended by my time zone. It ended by 1 or 2 o'clock. The ceremony ended, and I was up at 4 a.m. and I was running, starting my training. From that day, I trained for 4 years, every day. Until the end of qualification ended. So I improved in that time. I injured myself multiple times, and unfortunately, along the way, while I was trying to recover from the injury, I started to watch recovery videos from this guy. Elliot. Right. And then there was this e-coach, right?
E-coach, like online coaching? Or?
No. It was like on the Strength Camp channel. There was this e-coach. He was showing how to do exercises correctly.
Okay, it's online.
It was on Elliot's YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
But there was this e-coach. It wasn't Elliot. It was a different person.
Okay.
And I think you know that person. And eventually it was Chris. And then I stumbled upon Chris's channel. I tried to contact Chris, and Chris at that point I think kind of was either too busy or didn't got my messages and stuff like that. And I eventually got a hold of him. I was in a contest, and I actually got to have a phone call with Chris, And yeah, and I took it from there. Like we started to work. Chris saw that I have a serious attitude about my goals. And I told him like that's my goal and it's what I want to achieve. For a year we worked online, maybe over a year, and then I came here in 2015 till 2016. I was here, and now I'm back. So yeah, 2016 ended, right? I didn't qualify for the Olympics, but the progress that I made was huge. The people that I met along the journey was amazing. I met like high level athletes, met with them, spoke to them, made good friends in that journey with athletes that I just admired from the distance, became my friends that I would have like handshakes, secret handshakes with them or something like that. So it was an amazing journey, but then I took a break from that because like I was training every single day, literally every single day,
even Sunday,
Christmas, New Year's, whatever.
Okay.
Every single day. My birthday, I would even do a special thing that I would, for example, do something that I haven't done. Right?
Like workout-wise?
Workout-wise. I would do something that I haven't done at all. For example, this one time I swim 6 kilometers.
A day?
In that one day.
Session?
In one session, yeah. 6 kilometers. Like, and because at that point, the biggest amount that I swam was like 2, maybe close to 3 kilometers, so that's what I did. And yeah, and so that ended. I took a break. I tried to I actually felt fresh about coming back from the break. I was training with this guy back there in Latvia. He's a very good 400 runner, and I was like running with him, like sparring with him. I would say he was my training partner, and I was like holding my own against him, right? And unfortunately, one day something happened with my knee. Okay. And I was not able to come back. I tried to come back. You know, I was
Did you sprint?
Yeah. I tried to come back to work out, have quality sessions in, but I was not able to have a good comeback. And at that time, I just let it go. Like I'm just the only thing that I didn't try was like to let it go. I tried everything. I did everything recovery-wise. I tried everything, and some time went by, and I started to feel all right. I thought like I have a lot of time on my hands, and let's try to pick up training again. So then I was like, okay, I'm feeling good. Let's try to amp this up a bit. Okay. So I trained, and got a PR. No, I was close to a PR, and I was like, I've been training only for a month, like seriously. So I trained a bit more.
Okay.
So what I did was like big bulk training sessions,
okay,
like
so
for
bodybuilding.
No, not like that. I mean like
recovery, like getting back to
big amounts. Like I was running longer distances, like 5Ks in the morning and stuff, things of that nature. I was like doing 100 pull-ups per day, not in like 100 pull-ups in a row, but like 100 pull-ups and like that. I was like building back, like because I was inactive at all.
Yeah,
like
I got you.
So and I picked it up and I was like, okay. And then I contacted Chris and I'm like kind of back in the game and so on. He gave me some tips and tricks, and I improved. And I actually beat my personal record. And I was like, okay.
How much time did that take?
That was like 3 months in the work. 3 months in.
So that's basically what you're saying. Is like, if you have done it before, doing it again is not that hard, right? Like coming back.
Yeah. Well,
was it difficult? The second
it was
time,
in a way because like. Yeah, I remember just days where I would walk funny because like the amount of, for example, just body weight squats that I would do. Right, I would do like 100 squats, for example, to just help build my legs up. It's like I would, I was not thinking about like lifting weights at that point because I was just, not strong enough. I think at that point, so I was just like building up that base strength. Okay. So at that point, I felt like, okay, I will build up, but like I did a lot of body weight stuff So in all that, like I was super sore, like yeah, but I just recovered and stuff like that. So I took my time with it. I was not rushing it. So I was like, okay, I have a week, and in a week I could do this much work, right? And I was okay, dude. You have to put recovery in it. I was conscious about it. So and then after that, it took me a year, half a year, like plus from I did that 1 month plus 3 months, and then another half year, and then I broke another record of mine, that record that I broke previously. So yeah, and since then I actually haven't broke any records, but yeah.
So when was this? Like,
this was still in April. So yeah.
So like 6 months ago, like.
Oh yeah, so it seems like by now. But yeah, and then
so after that, have you kept working or?
Yeah. Well, right now I think there's this a thing called swimmer's mentality.
Okay.
So it's like an insanity that you go swim and have you swim, and it's like the swimmers do the same thing all the time. They just swim all the time.
Yeah, but it's different.
And it's an insanity because they're doing the same thing but expecting different results. But that's how you get in swimming better. And Michael Phelps, for example, he said you have to, like, if you want to get, like, you get to that certain level, to get even a little bit better in that level, you have to, like, train twice as, like, more or hard.
After you're like top level.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I feel like at this point I have reached a certain, like, to a degree, plateau, but still I'm looking for ways to improve. So I'm talking to Chris about my technique. I'm thinking about my conditioning. I'm thinking about my strength, about as well my size. Like, you know, what would, like, so I wouldn't be too bulky, but I would be, like, still strong enough to endure the race and so on. So I'm not carrying too much weight, for example, but, like, every muscle is, like, working on a goal of beating that record that I have. So yeah, and then now my mission is to just keep on going and see what can I do, and then do my best. Yeah, that's
great.
That's my goal right now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. So anything else you want to know, or what else?
Nope.
Good.
That's everything.
All right. Thank you for the session, and
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
Talking to you, man. Yeah.